Hello, my name's Andy and welcome to the garage. Here is my next restoration, a Matchbox Super Kings Ford Sierra Cosworth RS500 from 1989. Now this model's seen better days, as you can see. Windows have been hopefully just marker penned out. I can recover those hopefully. Been overpainted. It looks like it was originally white, but it's all intact and I think it is savable. So without further ado, let's get it on the bench, shall we? Well, here is our RS500. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Spoiler's intact. Glass doesn't appear to have any cracks, so obviously it's been darkened at the back. That NGK is just me practicing the decal, so that's slightly giving the game away where we're going. We're going touring car, I'll tell you that much. 1, 2 rivets. So there must be a tab in the back here somewhere. Might be a plastic base. Yeah, it's plastic base. But let's get it apart, shall we? So let's see what we can do with these 2 rivets. Incidentally, I put a bit of Vaseline on the end of there, a bit of petroleum jelly. There it is. Stops loads of bits going everywhere. Take a look at this. I think we just need a bigger drill to take off the outer edges. So we've got a 5.5. Don't want to damage that plastic base if we can help it. Doesn't seem to be free at the moment. Just had a closer look there. There's still a bit on the edges. Looks like this side's free, but both might be free. So what's holding it together? Ah, there we go. It's a combination base. Didn't know that. That's metal. This is the plastic bit. As you can see, it's still held on where those rivets are. If I push it forward and give it a wiggle, yeah, it's coming off at this side, look. And it's off. Some rear lights. Got an interior. Steering wheel and dashboard. Now the glass is held in by one big rivet there. So we'll just take this big drill, because we have got it, onto there. There we go, easy enough. And this is glass all the way to the front headlights. Push a little clip here. Now I've got to get the doors open. All the way. You think it just pulled back, but it's held in here. There's a clip there. See if I've got a little one of those little micro screwdrivers to get behind there. Here we go. Guessing that is a bit of plastic. See it there? No, that's all one piece round there, I think. That ain't going to go past the doors without these headlight bits coming out. What I can do is try and push them from this side. I'm not too worried if I damage them. Right, one's out. That's it, they're free. That little push. They've got to pull up. Yeah, they've got to pull up. Come over those posts. There we go. We're out. Clearly see the marker pen effect there. There are the lights. That glass looks quite good. And there you are. It's K162. So I'm off to try and leave the doors on. Not a big fan of taking them off, but I think these are off to paint okay. Quite a gap there, look. If you take them off, you've got to grind off that so you can pull this pin bar out and then they just lift out. Not sure about this spoiler, it's plastic for sure. It's on little clips there, look. If I just push them in with my hand, spoiler's out. That'd have been a disaster if I put that in the caustic as it was. So let's just have a look at the wheels now. They just lift out. And they don't look bad, do they? Race car wheels, I don't think. So we'll probably be keeping those. So let's just go through this. Wheels, plastic lower body, plastic spoiler, plastic interior and rear lights, metal middle body base, metal chassis, metal top, metal body, got my words muddled up there, sorry about that, and clear top. So this lot can go in the caustic soda. This lot can go in a safe box for later. Just take a look at these posts. Quite big, but they're not chunky. We'll I think we'll drill them out before we put it in the caustic and see what we can do. We'll go for a 2mm. That's what we'll go for. Right, well, we've got some holes to go into there. I think this 2mm is going to be too big, to be honest, but we'll give it a go. Right, I'll finish that drilling off camera. You've seen me do that loads of times. Right, those holes are drilled, so let's put the tap in. It's got a bit of Vaseline on it. As you can see, I've drilled some deep holes for this one. Anyway, that's the first one done. I'll do the second one off camera and then we'll look for some nuts. Well, we are out the caustic soda with our Sierra. Needed 2 dips, and to be honest, it don't look bad. Nice shiny metal. So we'll just give it a polish with wire brush. We've seen me do a bit of that. What I'll do is I'll carry on off camera. Already you can see, well, I'm glad I didn't take that door off, because it's not a great fit. Despite the amount of paint on it, I'm going to need a bit of fill around this wing, and maybe some spread on the roof, but we'll see how we go. But the base looks fine. Well, our Sierra's had its polish. I used 2 brushes like this after the wire wheels, and she doesn't look too bad, to be honest. The casting line there either side, little bit of marking there, bit on this wing. The window surrounds are a bit rough in places. Mark the other side, but apart from that, not too bad. And the base itself is absolutely fine. So I'm just going to get rid of these with a rounded file. Probably end up with a bit of filler on here. I've done the backs of the car. This one's going to need filler because you can't see it, but that's a groove in there. I'll just take far too much away. This was different, this was more raised. Been over and round with some 400 on a block to try and get the flashing off the side of the doors, etc. There's a casting mark around here on the wing. There is a bit of bleb in there, which is a surprise seeing how thick paint was coated on it after the hand painting. So I'm going to get the filler out. Some damage to the roof, and I think I am going to fill the sunroof after all. Because what I'm doing is I'm off to do a homage to the car that I'm doing. So a look-alike. It's not going to be perfect in terms of looks, but I can get rid of that sunroof. I've also been round all the window edges to say were particularly bad in places. So we'll get some filler mixed up. Okay, we've got a bit of filler mixed up. So let's get going before it goes off. Don't want any in that groove where that spoiler is. Roof. There's a bit the other side needs doing. A bit more because that roof's not right yet. There's like a roof rail down there. I'm just going to push that along there. Right, I think it's going to be okay. Let's smear a bit on the door there. Check the other door. Bleb in there maybe. A bit on this side, even though it was the better of the 2 sides at the rear. So all around that wing. bit of a ding there. Maybe if it's not gone off yet, smooth that bonnet out. Good. Quite pleased with that. Tidied up. Well, we're back with the rest of the car, and we're off to just try and clean this screen up in a bit of decal. Dunk it in. See if it moves it. I'm not sure if it's paint or marker pen. I think it's more likely marker pen. Might be moving it. This is quite a flimsy screen. I think you can see that whatever it is, see that's quite dark. It is moving it, which is a relief. Maybe should have worn gloves. Just get a cloth and give that a wipe so you can have a look. I can see all the blackness coming off there. And what I'd do when I've finished is I'd soak that in water to make sure there's no decal left on it. Right, I'll do the rest of this screen with that, and we'll take a look when we've finished. Well, I'm partly way through getting the black off. What's come clear was a crack across there, look. Now, the rear spoiler may cover that. And I'm thinking very small pinhole drilled in there, fill it with crystal clear, stop that crack going all the way across. The only black that's proving stubborn is round this grille here, bottom of the screen. Now I might be painting that black anyway, but I'd have to go back in and check the photos of the car that I'm trying to replicate before I decide I could perhaps leave that and just black marker pen it myself. But that's disappointing. We'll keep cleaning for now. That's the best way forward while we think about it. Let's just see what effect it'd have on this bit of plastic. Did think I might have to sort of sand this off, wet and dry it off. Anyway, you see, give it a good wipe and it is coming off. So that'll have to be done like that as well. So it's better, it's the least abrasive of the options, to be honest. So I'll get on with that and get back to you later. Incidentally, I found a little drill to put through there. Right, we're just gonna do this rear screen now. Just got to get the end of it, and I think it's about there. Right, and that'll stop that crack from spreading. You can fill that with some crystal clear. Still a bit of work to do on that windscreen as well, because it's marked there at the top. There's 2 lines, and at the bottom. I didn't want to drill too small a hole, because then you don't stop the crack. So it's a difficult choice. I have just taken that out, that decal, after the soak while I drilled that hole. You can see that's come up really, really quickly. quicker than the black stuff on the grill there. So really pleased with that. I think what I might do is top that up so I can dunk the whole lot in and get it done. Well, our Sierra's ready for paint. Just gone over it with some 600. You can see the outline of the old sun visor. Been around this rear end. The other side too. Doors. Over the bonnet. I've also been round the lower body and I've test fitted that. I did widen these areas to check that it fits and clips together nicely without any problems. Said just unclipping it there, but it looks good. So that can go into paint now. The glass, I think the next job will be to polish up this rear and try and get rid of the marks and fill that little hole I drilled in. I can't get that out. Those blacks, I've tried scraping them, take forever, so I'm not going to worry about that anyway. So we're going into paint. Well, we've got our glass here and I've just been round all the panels on it from 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm now just going to finish off with the auto sol to get it as best I can. So what I do with that, just put a bit on. Rub it in. Then on a little handheld mini tool with a clean brush, keep it moving, don't want to burn the glass. Slow speed anyway, so a lot less chance. What I'll do, I'll go around each panel doing that. Okay, that's how to clean up. Now, what I'm going to do, just make sure this hole's clear that I drilled. Already cleaned it once. And I'm going to pop in some of this crystal clear to fill that hole and behind that crack that we had. So here we go, got a bit of crystal clear on there. It's filled the hole. Now that might not look great at the moment, but I'm hoping that dries perfectly clear. So just have to wait and see. Now these are going to go into paint as well, and the spoiler. What I clean the plastic parts with is just some glass cleaner. Now I've found you can use this if you want to touch up your paint, flat it back, you need to get it clean again, you can use this. Thing with standard thinners is it melts the plastic part, so you can't use that. Could use soapy water. These have already been in soapy water, so this is like the final clean. And then you get a close inspection just in case you've missed anything you might want to touch up. Get a feel along the edges, etc. Put these in my paint dryer to make sure they're properly dry, because you can't get in there to dry them obviously. And they're ready for paint. Now I don't think the cockpit's going to stay that colour either. Yet to research it, but it ain't staying grey, that's a fact. So we'll research that, see what colour that needs to be. Oh, the seats come out, look. Just pull off there. Now the steering wheel, that will come out as well. There we go. And we're ready for paint once these are properly dried off. Look at that nice little sort of Recaro seats. We are back with some of our Cosworth out of paint. That needs to be lacquer jet. That's a rear spoiler. This is the interior. I've been experimenting with pens, and this looks the best one out of these three. That's on the underneath, because this seemed to have a blue parcel shelf, etc. I'm not trying to make the exact race car, which you might be able to guess from these. No, it's not a police accident. It's the Brock Andy Rouse Sierra Cosworth. Raced at Bathurst in Australia and took the BTCC championship at least once. So I've done the decals for that, as you can see. So we've got the interior to do. There's the middle of the base, the metal part. It's not bad, I might highlight that. And we've got the insides of the wheels to do. Now I did spray those with some I think it was matte black spray cans. So I think the first thing to do is get on with this blue carpet parcel shelf, etc. Right, so we've got this blue metallic colour pen, but it's not appearing like that on this primer. We'll see it through the glass anyway. It is a bit metallic-y. Anyway, it's the one I've chosen. And there we are, the blue's done. Sticking black with the rest. Quite like that actually. Here we are, back with our Sierra, out of paint. The marks there, don't know where they've come from. Anyway, they'll polish out, I'm sure. Now, I've got some pictures of where we're going with this one. There they are. Take them away in case I've infringed some copyright. And what we've got some decals already cut out. We've got some spares. We've got some wheels to do. And the wheels actually are very close. And as you can see, they were quite silvery. So not quite sure how I'm going to paint them yet. But first things first, let's start looking at some decals. Now, I had a bit of a problem with the bonnet just there with that paint. It's come up again, look, just a little mark. Can't keep going back to it. I don't know what's causing it. So we've got an 05 go on the bonnet, and I'm not going to show myself putting all these decals on because obviously it's quite a lot. I think this is one of the 05s we want here. I'll just get some scissors and we can cut that out. Now I'm still using scissors, so I've got this really sharp knife there. I'm not going to do that at the moment. I want to try that out first rather than use it in anger. Tell you what, it's got a very secure top on that, so push that back in. So this looks like the 05 for the bonnet, but hood for our American friends. I think our Aussie friends call them bonnets. Now this is an Aussie car, and it's quite famous. Sierra raced in Tooheys 1000 by an Australian called Brock and Andy Rouse in the British Touring Car Championship. So there'll be more of that at the end. That's all I can remember at the moment. And there is a YouTube video of it, the current owner who owns this car, and standard road version. So I think this must be one of the big mobiles. Now that, yeah, that needs to go over there. So they're perhaps the first two to put on, I think. Right, I've actually swapped that 5 over because we do need a bigger 5 on the bonnet. Looking at the pictures, it needs to be nearly 2 letters wide, and that's about right. So put that in the bit of water just out of shot. Just put a bit of water on there. Here's our first decal, one of many. Needs to be in the middle of the bonnet, obviously. Leave it there for now. Push it off. Be mobile for a while because we've got to get the, if you pardon the pun, we've got to get the mobile one on now. Mobile. Here we go with our mobile one. Slipped on nicely. Looking at the pictures, we've got the vents here. Needs to be central to those. Like it's on the bottom, just past the bottom of them, so it's further forward than I've got it. That is easier then to center, you see. I think that just ends where the curve of the bonnet comes forward. I think that looks pretty good. What we'll do is we'll get some micro salt on that. Got around those little bonnet louvers there for it to drop into. There we go, just with a bit of micro salt. Got a little spider crawling across there, ready looking for his new home. Ford enthusiast would say he's picked really well, I guess. Right, I think that's quite good. So what we've got here is a really small one with Brock written on. Brock was the driver in Australia, and he wasn't a big Ford fan apparently, so he wouldn't have the Ford badge on his car. So he placed it with his own name. That's going to go just there. So here we go with that little name sign, Brock. this. If we got a magnifying glass to it, you could read it. But at the moment, you just have to take my word for it, I think. Some of that water from underneath it. There's quite a lot there. Move it about with this cocktail stick. Right, that's on. Now I'm going to leave that. Can't do any more on that at the moment. What I'll do is I'll stick a few more decals on. I've got some for here. If you look, we've got quite a few down the side, but I don't want to touch that until they're ready. We've got one on the spoiler. So I think we'll do the spoiler one next. We can probably do it on camera actually. So here we go with one on the spoiler. Notice they're on clear paper because they're going on white. A lot easier when you're putting stuff on white and you can use clear. You have to cut to the edges, etc. That looks like it's gone on really well. Like it's maybe just a touch to the right. Yep, we like that. Put that down. There's a few more to do. As you can imagine, you can easily spend an hour plus, maybe 2 hours on something like this, just doing decals. And it doesn't make for a great video for you guys. So that's the last one I think I might put on for you. Well, it's been a while since you saw our Cosworth. There she looks. Really nice. Now I think the last bit of video I filmed was trying to put these side stripes on, which were really difficult. I had to reprint them and give them 4 coats of lacquer to get them on. That was followed by more trials and tribulations in getting these decals on. Now, I'd underestimated grossly the amount of curvature on the bottom part of this model. I was hoping to put the decals on in one all the way around at the front and at the back, but I had to cut them at the apex, so it just wouldn't bend. Not to mention the curves in and out. I couldn't get all the bubbles out. Curves on the underside. If I'd have known that, I would have masked red enamel, blue enamel them, pen, whatever, but I didn't. So I tried to rescue it. I've got a few blue pens I've gone round with, and she doesn't look too bad. I've also done the exhausts and the rear, did this in a slightly different colour, give it a bit of a galvanised look. So all that remains, this spoiler should be blue, this bottom spoiler, and I've got the Brock sun visor which I need to reprint because I printed it on clear instead of white. So we're pretty close to the end. 1, 2, 3. Now to find the right and best pen or best colour for that, I've done a bit of a test underneath where it won't be seen, and I've gone with this acrylic paint marker as the best and the closest perhaps to here. So just got to get that over here and we can get started. Incidentally, I'm pleased with those wheels. Don't they look nice? So here we go with this acrylic paint marker. Now I've masked off the underside of this spoiler. Right, that's off to take a bit of time, so I'll get back to you when it's finished. You can peel the tape off. See what kind of job we've got there. Doesn't look bad at all. Perhaps just a couple of places to touch. And there. We better leave that for a while. And that's not a bad match at all. Here is our completed but disassembled RS500, and she hasn't come out bad, as you can see. So let's get on with the assembly, shall we? So first up is the glass. Now I've put that decal on. The decals were particularly difficult, not that one. Let's get the glass in, shall we? I think we have to open the doors. Could do a bit of door detailing as well, it seems. Forgot that. So let's get on with it, shall we? It's like tab goes up there at the back. Look. It's going to have to come in forwards. So this has to come underneath the door bits. Remember, it's tricky to get out. There we are, that's in. Now we can right, that's gone under there. That's about to come over there. That's over. She's in. Let's take a look. Not bad at all. Right, there might be a continuity error there because I forgot to put the whale tail in. I'm wondering, yeah, the glass has just dropped out a bit to let us get this in. So glass has got these recesses for it to go in. So let's get the whale tail in. It's gone in. Just need to get it lined up. So there's a bit of paint going on here since it came out. That looks right to me. It's fitting there and there. That's touching at the back post. Let's put the glass back in around it that holds it in. That's good. Let's make sure we get these the right way. Sure. I think this goes in first. Yeah, that was it. That goes the dash underneath these door posts. Might just open the doors a little bit. That's in. Then we get lights on, I think. I think they're that way. That way. It's interesting because a whale tail stopping them going in. Why was that? There they are. Resting on the whale tail. There and there. That's good. Put our body on. Different. Rest that on its roof. The paint's really hard. You can get these wheels on. Lift plate up. Wheels in. Yep. Yep, she's a roller. And the whole of this goes in there. Two screws. Now I don't know if these ones I've got are actually long enough. Find out in a second. It's not gripping. I think I need. He's always the same. Look, it's dropped in the model. Yeah, little. Right, we're on take 2 of putting the base on. One of these dropped off, went down the wheel arch and in. Pain. I think we need some longer screws, so we'll just stop the video there and get some. Okay, I'm back with you. What we've had to go for is some of these little hex ones. These holes, although I didn't drill them wider, are quite wide for a 2mm tap, which is what we have. So let's get this back in. A little hex one ready there. And right, here we go. So these aren't too long. One's held. That's good. Let's get this one on. Go. There is our little Aussie RS500. Now a bit more to do before you see it on the turntable. Not looking too bad. This is what we started with. Heavily play one RS500 Cosworth. It's taken a bit of doing, so let's see how we got on, shall we? Because here it is now. Well, here is our RS500, and doesn't she look good in the racing colours of the Australian Peter Brock and the British driver Andy Rouse? This one is in the TUI's 1000 colour scheme, the mobile colour scheme. Now let's have a bit about the car. The RS500 started life as a Ford Sierra RS Cosworth, which was first shown in March 1985 and went into production in mid-1986. 5,545 RS Cosworths were built. Of these, only 500 were converted to RS500 spec by Tickford in England. Now the standard RS500 kicked out 224 brake and was a 0 to 60 time of 6.2 seconds with a top speed of 154. The RS500 from what I can find, had anywhere from 400 to 550 brake horsepower, and it had a heavily modified body, front bumper, bonnet vents, larger rear spoiler, that whale tail, and a lip spoiler on the tailgate as well. The original retail price in the UK of the standard RS Cosworth was £19,950, and recently one sold, an immaculate one with less than 10,000 miles, for nearly £600,000. Now, Andy Rouse was one of Britain's top touring car racers in the 80s, and he'd won the British touring title quite a few times, backed by Ford and his team Andy Rouse Engineering, who built the Sierra RS500s for the Group A competition. They were raced under the Caliber Racing banner, and their RS500 was dominant in the UK touring scene. Over a 12-season race, the Rouse-prepared RS500s won 9 wins and 10 pole positions. Not always driven by Rouse himself, but he had another driver called Guy Edwards. Now, 2 of Rouse's cars did make their way to Australia when Peter Brock met Andy Rouse, and those 2 cars had the full support of Rouse Engineering. Now, Peter Brock was a Holden person, which I think is a GM brand in Australia, and he didn't really like Fords that much, hence he didn't have the Ford badge on the car. He had his own badge, Brock, which you can see coming round on the front of that bonnet, that little black decal. In 1989, Brock took pole position at Bathurst, his 6th Bathurst pole, and the only one he ever got in a non-Holden car, in this very car. Unfortunately, he had mixed results over the season and only finished 3rd overall in the championship. Well, this hasn't been an easy car to do, with the decals, etc. A very curvy body. I think I've said before in the video I had to cut them at the apex to get them on. Lots of microsol, and then some touching up with a blue pen as well. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, it does mean a lot to the channel, and I'll see you again next week with another restoration. I leave you with the Andy Rouse Peter Brock RS500 Cosworth of the Australian Touring Car Championship. Take care.